Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, we've both finally seen The Flash. Again, this is a real movie that actually came out.
Shockingly.
Movie that's been trying to come out since 2014, or at least that's what was originally announced, 2014. It's finally here. It's been out. Not a lot of people have seen
Was
it,
it like
but it's here.
24? It was
That's
2014?
when like the big slate of DC stuff was like officially
Oh
like at least
my
like
gosh.
thought like
That is
conceptualized. Yeah.
that's actually insane.
Yep. Yep. Um, yeah. What are your general thoughts about it?
I don't get it. Like it's just so okay. So my things about this are it's first of all, that is a long movie for no reason,
Right.
which is a little annoying.
If it's a long movie and you're liking it, sure. Like the second time I sat through Across the Spider Verse, I could kind of feel its length, but I didn't care because it's phenomenal.
Right. And there's things that you miss that you're like, ooh, that's a good detail, or ooh, I
Right.
really want to see this scene again because this scene was epic, or oh,
Yeah.
now the music, now that I've like listened to the soundtrack, now that I hear the soundtrack again in the movie theater, it's
Right.
cool.
Or like John Wick 4. It's like the climax hadn't even started yet. And I was like, it's already almost 2 hours. I'm kind of feeling it, but I'm ready for more. And then the last hour is nothing but just action the whole time. It was great.
Yes.
But yeah, this movie, like, not even an hour in, I was like, can I check my phone? I was like, are we almost there? No, okay.
I mean, it's just a lot was going on, but it just happened at a very slow pace, and it just
Mm.
felt very like unnecessarily stretched out for a long time. Also, this movie, which as I kind of saw it going in, does one of my least favorite things, where it kind of just has an actor be himself for like most of the movie, which is really annoying because it's like I already don't care, but it also doesn't fit the character we're trying to go for. And but the worst part is now there's two of them, which again, he I think he does a good job in terms of making it feel like the two of them are two different characters, but they're both annoying in the same way somehow. And
So,
it's a whole thing.
yeah. So, for for the record, not that I, but for the record, Ezra Miller goes by they them pronouns. So I'll
Oh,
try
yes.
to.
My
It'll help
bad.
that there are two of them, but like whatever. but but regardless, like it's. I'll try to keep that straight. But regardless, it is very interesting how this movie makes it a point that the Flash, after spending a pretty decent time with his younger self, like does a thing where it's like, wow, was I really this annoying? When this Flash is still pretty annoying. Like we haven't grown up with this guy to know. Like it's almost like there was a movie in between this and Justice League where this character grew up. He actually got more, you know,
Likeable.
likable, but we missed that movie, so we just gotta just assume that he's better now.
But it's funny because like no one else thinks so either in the
Yeah,
movie. I mean,
and it's also I didn't necessarily notice this at the time sitting in the theater, but watching random clips or even watching the trailers back, it is so obvious that like if ever there's two Ezra Millers on screen, one of them is clearly Ezra Miller. The other person is just another person with a deep faked Ezra Miller face on it. And like you watch it again, it's a little distracting, especially when the
yeah.
other one is wearing the Flash's suit. Which I'll get more to the suit in a little bit, but like considering the main thing that differentiates them is their hairstyle, when the other one is in the suit, it's like you kind of lose track of who is actually who at certain points, and it's yeah, I don't. It's Especially considering the fact that the whole point of Flashpoint is that the Flash essentially lives three lives by the end of it. It's
Yeah.
like he has all of his memories of the previous stuff. He jumps to a point where he's already lived an entire lifetime with his mom,
Right.
and that's
Has new
why.
memories and it like yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing I didn't understand because again, I knew we knew this going in there was going to be two Barrys,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't make any sense because that's not really how the story
Mm-hmm.
works. But I guess sure
But
for
I'm
reasons.
all for adaptations doing their own thing. That's fine. But when the main conflict for Flashpoint, as far as like Flash the character is concerned, the main conflict is Flash did this so that he could spend the lifetime with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And this Flash didn't get to have those experiences. This other Flash that he was kind of maybe able to live vicariously through a little bit, kind of did, but what it's I don't get it. I don't get why they made that decision. Especially when Ezra Miller's Flash was not exactly the most likable character in in Justice League anyway. Like I know like everything that's happened with him was kind of more recent and after they filmed most of the movie, so they weren't gonna go back and change that. But it's still not what I would have picked after watching Justice League to have two of them on screen. But
I don't know. It was it. Yeah, it felt for me. It felt like an excuse to just have Barry talk to someone, and like
have him talk
I
to his
did.
mom more.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was
They had
thinking.
one conversation, maybe two, in the Flashpoint timeline,
Just
right? Like maybe two
yeah,
conversations.
not many.
What?
Like Hap started dinner with them, and then was like, "Oh, there's other me,"
Yeah.
which like yeah doesn't really make sense. But also, why not just take other you,
Mm-hmm.
put him somewhere else, and just live your life, or at least like I don't know. He made it seem like it was very hard to like. They made it seem like it was like, oh no, especially before he got his power. So it was kind of like you can kind of just also okay, no, okay, sorry. This
Oh,
is
we're getting into this. We're getting into this. Yep.
there were so many moments where I swear Barry forgot he was the Flash. Like,
Yes.
why are you sneaking around anywhere?
So,
What is up with that?
my,
Like, you can phase through the wall, but then a guard is coming. Oh, what am I gonna do? Are you serious?
so
You
part
can what?
part of that was the fact that our Barry somehow inexplicably lost his powers while trying to give the other Barry his powers. The lightning bolt literally went through him into the other one, and that transferred your powers into him somehow. It's like,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
what? Yeah, you were still fine. Like, what? The Speed Force healed you right before taking your powers away?
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you're the. I guess his like he healed right as his powers left him. I
No,
guess, but like that
but
makes no
why?
sense.
Why would they make him lose his powers? I don't understand. Like, essentially, that scene was only there because we, the audience, didn't actually see this Barry get his powers because they didn't make his origin movie or didn't, tease
Yeah,
that or anything. So they had to get that in there somewhere. But even though there obviously was going to be another scene later where Batman helps him get his powers, like in the comics, which was cool enough, but whatever. But why not? Like, you need to explain it better how you lost your powers. You can even say some BS line like, "Oh, the Speed Force can only have one commander at a timeline at a time," or some crap like that. I would accept that.
yeah, I guess. I mean, it's better than the lightning taking your powers but giving your. Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Right? And then we had to
Yeah.
spend like 10 minutes of Youngberry learning his powers and running around like a fool naked. Why? What was that?
Like, why? That was so unnecessary. And I like there were scenes where like you could tell they were like pausing for laughter, and it
Hmm.
was just like kind of quiet. And it was
There
just
was like
kind
a
of like,
couple of things I laughed at, like when Barry had his first, not date with Iris, where he like ran into his apartment real quick, put stuff in the cupboards, and ran back out. And
yes,
like as the date was happening, stuff was like randomly falling because he didn't do it. Although when if he's the Flash, he had the time to make it do it correctly, but he
he
didn't.
still chose not to. Yeah.
I, I don't know.
I
Like,
mean, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably do that if I had superpowers. I'd probably still be lazy about it.
yeah. So like there was a
I'm honest.
couple of moments here and there where I got a chuckle, but not most of the times there was like a young Barry said something that we're supposed to find funny. Like no, I didn't find him funny. I didn't find any of the roommates or whatever those other friends were funny.
Yeah, that was so weird. I thought it was a little interesting how like, oh, Michael J. Fox is that? No, it's not like they had the different actors,
Yeah.
different like that was a good detail because like yeah, like butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and the actor who they say played Marty McFly, like originally was like he actually filmed
Hmm.
most of the first movie, but they had to recast him for some reason. I don't know what the exact reason is. No, they had to reshoot those scenes with Michael J. Fox. Um,
Yeah.
but so yeah, that is like that is a fun little like thing you can do with multiverse story. It's like make it still feel relatively
Yeah.
like our world, but mix a couple of things here and there.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that.
Right. Will Smith and Matrix and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Um, so as soon as like after I watched The Flash, I was talking to it with my about it with my brother. He has no interest in this movie. I don't blame him.
that's that's
He
fair.
asked me what was the worst thing about it, and my response was
Ooh.
the worst thing about this movie is that I actually really liked the first 20 minutes. And then it just got worse.
It did start. The opening sequence wasn't too bad.
Right? Like
It
almost
was a
every
little annoying. The copy scene part was a little annoying, but like once it
yes,
actually got going,
yes.
it was pretty good.
Like almost every single thing that happened during the first major action sequence was exactly what I would want out of a Flash movie with an already established Justice League. Like there's a major problem in Gotham City that because Batman's not the main character, he can't take care of by himself. Because that's how these things go. If he were the main character, he'd be able to
Yeah,
deal with
no,
that.
100%. Well, I mean, first of all, it was going on in the daytime, so it was like, man, Batman's not as full powers. It's fine. Like,
Sure, yeah.
whatever. We'll call it whatever we want.
uh, but Barry mentions like you know, why is he always
There's
calling me to
something
clean up
there.
his messes? Well, actually, you're like his fourth person he called because Superman's over fighting a volcano, Wonder Woman's somewhere else. Aquaman, why would
Yeah.
he be here? It's like,
He's like, we're on land, so no
yeah.
Aquaman. Like,
So him feeling like this forgotten member of the Justice League, having to just
cleanup
do
crew.
cleanup, like him, if this movie were about him trying to find his place in this team, but also just find his place as the superhero of this city, like could have actually been really cool. And I actually kind of liked how his like how the I liked how the running looked better in this movie than it did Justice League. It still didn't look great. I didn't like the weird arm things he still does, but
Yeah, the sideways arm running. I don't get it.
I really liked the calorie counter in his suit. That's something
Yeah,
that
that's pretty cool.
like. It kind of grounds Flash in a way where like yes, Flash is one of the most powerful beings in all of comics, but he does technically have a limit to how much he can eat. Like that makes sense. I wish that were more apparent throughout more of the movie, but it was just really this opening section. Um, uh, I really liked Batman, Ben Affleck Batman in this movie. I really liked how he didn't use the voice modulator. He just talked in like a deeper, more Batman-y voice, and it actually sounded really good. Like, why didn't he just do that the whole time? um, I hated the suit. Flash's
The
suit.
Batman suit?
Flash's well, Batman. We'll get to
Oh,
that. Say
Flash.
Flash's suit was terrible. I did not like it at all. I didn't like the weird
Terrible? I don't think it was terrible.
I didn't like the weird textures on it. It didn't look like it fit Ezra Miller correctly. I didn't like the way the cowl fit on their face. I did.
Yeah, the
didn't,
cowl wasn't my favorite.
it just it looked like it was CG, but it wasn't. It just
That's a good yeah.
I don't know. Just nothing about it worked. I didn't love Flash's suit from the Justice League either, but it's at least looked more real. At least looked more like it fit him better. Just I don't know. It didn't work for me. Luckily, he actually wasn't in it for most of the movie. I did like the ring, though. I really liked how he brought in the ring, but I don't even think the Flash show did very much, if at all. So yeah, there are things about this movie where, like, if it were just a Flash movie, if it were just the Flash, what you would expect the Flash movie to be, set, in a Justice League world, cool. But it then decided to not be that.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, Wonder Woman makes her second needless cameo in a row, which is hilarious.
That's just gonna be her thing from now on. Blue Beetle, she's gonna show up.
Music for no reason.
And the joke, like they just do the same joke they did in Joss Whedon's Justice League. Like, oh, we're gonna have this super serious character say something embarrassing. Like, we did that already. And yeah,
it wasn't.
Yeah,
and it wasn't really funny. It was kind of just like it was like. I know they're trying to this is supposed to be one of those jokes like in Avengers where it's just kind of funny and just kind of it feels weird hearing Batman talk like this. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. Go back. This is weird.
And yeah, in motion, I actually didn't like Batman's suit as much as I thought I would. I didn't like all the weird gray padding. I don't know what that was.
I guess, yeah.
If it was just gray all the way down with the blue cape and cowl, perfect. But I don't get what that fishnet padding was. That didn't make it look good. I think the blue worked well. It showed me obviously that I've always been a proponent that I think blue could work if done well, and I think the color in the daytime worked well. Just all the suit didn't come together for me. But after that happened, then Barry learns he can kind of time travel, which I guess we're assuming Zack Snyder Justice League is not canon because he didn't know he could time travel yet. Even though he clearly did in that movie. I guess we're assuming that didn't happen, which I guess is fair.
I guess we just I kind of forgot about that. I'm like, did we just not? All right, because it didn't even look the same either. Right? So
especially since we know that this Batman knows that Barry can time travel since he showed up in his dream. Maybe I don't know in BVS.
Is that ever going anywhere?
No.
Safe to say, probably not.
No, it didn't even go anywhere in that movie. It didn't.
No, you're right.
So the fact that this Batman, I mean, obviously he shouldn't encourage, Barry to time travel, but it just feel like they should have a different conversation since Batman knows that he can. I don't know. I also did find it very funny when he's like, your scars are what makes you you. My scars are just made me alone. And Barry's like, I can go for a pizza. Do you want to hang out? And he's like, not this time. I don't know if that was meant to be funny, but it was very funny.
But see, that's the kind of stuff that I think him being serious when it comes off as funny. I'd rather have that than trying to go for a joke, which I know that was a specific thing, but still.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, moving into the actual, him after he time travels and stuff. I think here's my number one biggest complaint with this movie. So I guess. Well, I'm gonna break my major complaint into like kind of two sections. First major complaint section is just the fact that why is Zod here at all? Why is he the big
Yep.
bad of this movie? Why the heck did they were like, yeah, we're gonna make a Flash movie and have General Zod be the main? Like, it's to an extent interesting to show how this timeline is different, but also still relatively the same to the other timeline that Zod can still show up. I get that, but it doesn't do anything for Barry because second little like chunk of this, kind of like as soon as they first saw that Zod was showing up, Barry tells young Barry, I was actually there when Zod first showed up. I was just a couple of days after getting my powers. I did what I could. I could only save this one kid, but I had to watch his dad die, and I was only able to get that one kid out. If I were there now, I would be able to save more people. They like showed a flashback of him doing that thing. Then, during the climax, Supergirl lets Zod turn the world engine on, like an idiot, and then. The climax of Man of Steel starts off screen pretty much, but we do see a little. We'll get to that in just a second. A little glimpse of that dad and son running away from the beam, and then we never see them again. There was not a moment where Barry thought, "Oh, this is my moment for redemption. This is my moment where I can go into the city and rescue both of them, if not everybody, because I'm the Flash." Like, just imagine just how cool a scene could have been where it's like, okay, hey, Supergirl and Batman, hold them off while Barry and I, run over and save everybody in Metropolis. You can have this cool like overhead shot of them just like zooming all over the city, like getting people out.
Just dropping everyone off outside the city.
Yeah. Like, that would have been a pretty cool sequence and actually would make sense in a Flash movie. But no, instead, the climax is just them running around punching Kryptonians in the face. Like, what is this? Why is this in a Flash movie?
And also, like, they kind of have electric powers now, which is like, what?
They kind of, they started doing that in the Flash show. But as like an extension of his speed, like he had to like
right, but like but I mean they're Palpatine people, man. Like it was a little much. I was like, okay, now you're not.
Yeah,
we have different heroes for that, but I mean,
like obviously I'm fine with creating a twister. That's cool. That's very flashy.
Yes, no, that's perfect. That's
but yeah, just zapping.
Yeah, but I mean, just I build up speed, like. I didn't love that. That felt very not Flash to me. And I know, like, they can do stuff like that in the show sometimes, but I mean, even then, I didn't really love it.
No,
to be honest.
No.
Or like the speed lightsabers I saw one time, which just
they should have stopped at season 3. I don't know why they kept going.
That's crazy to me. That's amazing. How is that possible?
Right. So like, I'm gonna skip ahead, pretty much to the end. But obviously we have more to talk about later. But like, the climax essentially, boiled down to Supergirl was fighting Zod, Barry and other Barry are just fighting a bunch of Kryptonians, and Batman is just flying around doing whatever, and. We have. I'm going to talk about like Batman in a whole different chunk in just a second.
Yeah.
But like essentially, what I'm trying to get to is like they just kept losing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Things just kept going worse and worse in worse ways, and they kept rewinding time over and over again. And then yeah, we'll just say it now. Like, it was so funny when Batman just exploded.
I mean, oh dang.
Just
It was funny because when they were, oh my gosh, no, when like they kept trying to save Supergirl, and he was always a second too late, and then somebody, because I saw this movie kind of late in there, about somebody in my theater went, "Bro, it's a canon event," and I was just like, "It's a canon event," and we were just like, oh my
but
gosh,
like
but
they
like,
keep trying over and over again to fix it, and they just
yeah,
can't. And our Barry is like, no, there's no way to get out of this. When two things with that. One, in this scenario, you have two Flashes, a Supergirl, and a Batman.
yep,
In Man of Steel, you would just have like a fresh Superman, one who didn't really know how to use his powers, you know,
or fight.
or fight one who just won against like four big guys and a bunch of goons. Like like if you can't do it, how is he able to do it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, because it's like, oh, well, Kara had been in prison for so long. And I'm like, well, yeah, but like, I mean, it's not like Zod had been on the planet for like weeks or anything. Like,
Right? He
like they just got there too.
yeah, he never got out of his
Suit or
suit
whatever.
suit thing, which they only had him in there so that they could only. I guarantee Michael Shannon was only on set for like 2 days,
Yeah.
if even, because they clearly just had a CG head in there. He was not on set for very long. I don't think Feora had a single line in this whole thing. Like I don't even think
They did not.
I don't even think the actress was on set. I think they just had archive footage.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, which is so like, why? Like, why do that? Though? Why go through the trouble? Like, just do something else,
Right.
or I don't know.
And like the other kind of thing I want to touch on with this is like that was this insurmountable thing that Barry realized he just cannot fix. He needs to reset the entire timeline to make it so that this didn't happen. And not only do I feel given enough retries, you could probably do it. Compare this to what happens in the actual Flashpoint, which I tried very hard not to do, but just the amount of crap that went wrong in the original Flashpoint.
They broke the planet.
Almost every superhero was dead. You know,
Yes.
like
All of Europe was underwater. The Amazons took over like Asia and the rest of
yeah,
the world.
Wonder
I
Woman
mean,
had
it
just
was
stabbed Aquaman to death. Cyborg was in
yeah.
pieces. All the Shazam kids were dead. Batman was on his last legs.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody was dead. Superman was like a husky, barely been outside ever.
yeah,
He
there
was
was
kind of
a
just
nuke
around.
that was actively going off that would take out, almost all of Europe. And also Zoom was there, which,
Yep.
probably should happen in a Flash movie. Especially one that's about Barry's mom's death, but whatever. And yeah, that is a
Wait,
moment.
time out.
What?
Time out. Did they ever explain that?
No?
So Barry's mom just got randomly stabbed. There's no.
They,
Oh my god.
Barry was like we think it was just some muggers that broke in. They were gone before. Although no, but that doesn't make sense because
Making
like
sense.
unless we can maybe assume that young Barry 10-year-old Barry is an unreliable narrator. So like he's looking out a window, he sees his dad driving up. We hear the mom scream. He rushes in, and then she's already dead. So like, where did the robbers go? Like, there was no time for them to.
And you can't tell me that CSI didn't see any different footprints, no other fingerprints on the night. Like, you would have seen something if somebody else broke in, if not
Right.
forced entry. I mean, footprints, fingerprints, anything.
Yeah, but and also because like if what we see through Barry's perspective is true, his dad's alibi isn't even really that like doesn't even really matter all that much because we know that he was actually there basically when it happened. So
Yeah.
yes, we knew
Yeah.
he was out of the house, but he was still basically right there when it happened. So
Yeah, unless you had like camera footage, you wouldn't be like, oh, he was on the other side of the house at the time or anything.
Yeah. So yeah, you would think that you know, you know, Professor Zoom, Reverse Flash, or any other Flash villain, literally any of
Well,
them, should have been a villain in this movie. But no, when we had the thing in Gotham, it was just Falcone's son, who's a
yeah,
character, I guess.
that was so random. I
Okay.
mean, you could have just. I mean, like, I get you didn't want to break the bank for some like super CGI anything, but I mean, you could have. I mean, I don't know.
Just, just
It felt way over the top for like just a common goon. Like
right.
the building was going in the ground. It was like, okay, that's like a come on. This
It
felt
was
like
like
a
some kind of chemical
serious thing.
weapon or something.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, bring back Captain Boomerang. I'm sure he'd be willing to, to do it again, or
sure.
Weather Wizard, or Captain Cold. Like literally anybody could do something like that. I personally think it would have been fun to see Captain Cold and Mister Freeze team up to do something, which would cause Batman to want Flash along with them, since they're both of their villains. That could have been fun, but
That
no.
could have been fun.
Al Falcone, sure, why not?
Sure. Whatever.
So yeah, just the gravitas of this movie. I feel like this movie thought it was bigger than it actually was, when most of the time
Yes.
it just looks like a PS2 game. Which might be generous to PS2 games.
Ooh.
Like literally most of the CG for Supergirl looks like something out of Catwoman. It is not great. I don't say that lightly, but it was not good for a movie made in 2023. That was not good.
Jeez. Yeah, it was.
Hmm?
Yeah, that was. It was. Yeah, the story was kind of all over the place, and like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so kind of going back to like the whole like it's a canon event, we can't stop it
Yeah.
thing, and then the other Barry like turns out to be the whole not Black Flash
Yeah.
Savitar whatever looking
Saw that
thing.
coming a mile away.
Yeah, but like it was kind of cool, but like my thing was okay, but see now he's gonna be the one that goes back in time and kills the mother because he heard about it or something to cause this whole because it I don't know,
But
like that's what I thought was gonna happen.
no, because young Barry sacrificed himself to make sure that Black Flash never happened, which
Doesn't really.
wouldn't work because our Barry was pushed out of the timeline by Black Flash. I'm sorry, Dark Flash, because you can't call him Black Flash. It's a different thing. Even though I feel like Black Flash would also, because that is a Flash, at least a Flash entity that exists. You don't have to
Yeah.
make up a new character.
Well, no, I mean Black Flash. I mean that's his thing. He like chases down timeline thing.
Yeah, time
But,
anomalies are, yeah,
yeah, whatever. TVA for DC, whatever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
basically.
And I didn't mind the idea of the whole. I think they call it the Chronodome. Like I didn't mind that idea per se.
Interesting.
Like essentially being able to see all of time around you is like the Speed Force can do whatever. Sure, why
Yeah,
not?
sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
but then you also have it where like while in this dome you can also see all these other different multiverses that also exist, and then have just random cameos of just random dead people just looking.
Nicholas Cage
Right.
Superman
Like,
is the most no one asked for, but so glad I saw it thing I've ever
right,
seen in my life.
but
Was not prepared for that at all. Like so
if you're gonna
random, but
if
like
you're gonna
memes.
do that, commit to the bit. Actually, I feel you should have had him be where Supergirl was. You should have him, actually be in the movie if you're gonna have him at all. Like, it was fun to see that 2 seconds, but also they didn't get Nicolas Cage. They just got like like they CG'd his face onto a model and just
Mhm.
again just had him randomly stare off into the distance. In all these multiverses, did they see R. Barry doing this? Like I don't.
Probably not. I don't know.
And like, oh, Christopher Reeve and that Supergirl have been going on adventures this whole time. Like, I don't know. It seemed
Random,
really random.
pointless.
And we're gonna show some footage of Jay Garrick, not not the one from the show or the other show, which is actually the same person. We're gonna have we're gonna have this other like random guy just running, looking up at no with nothing, and then cut away. Like that's your only reference to another Flash is not even Grant Gustin or whatever his name is. Like really? Okay, sure. It's not like this is a Flash movie or anything.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It
Yeah.
didn't really felt kind of
like
pointless.
like I
But
don't even like it doesn't surprise me that they would use the cameos that they used. It doesn't like it obviously upsets me that they would use actors and whatnot that like the families didn't give their rights to use their license. One of the Superman actors they randomly had like committed suicide because he wasn't happy being Superman. Like these things are not like they don't want to be remembered this way. Yet for random cameo in this nonsense movie, we're just gonna have them in there as like a fun little thing. Like they didn't want that, but okay, I guess we're just gonna do that. Like I'm not even surprised that the studios would think this is what people would want to see in a Flash movie. For some reason, doesn't surprise me.
it is what it is.
Yeah,
I don't even.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
happened.
yeah. And I guess speaking of this being not a Flash movie, Michael Keaton Batman's in this thing.
Yep,
he
he's having a good time at
Yes, he
least.
is. Yeah, he legitimately like was the best part of this movie. Like watching him fight in ways that Michael Keaton never fought as Batman before because the suit wouldn't let him. Like doing like the whole like dive and like actually to lift his
Yes,
legs, turn his head, like having all these
that
gadgets.
was
Like that
pretty
was
cool.
really that little fight scene was really good. Like to the point where like if Andrew Muschietti, I think is the guy who directed this, if he is to direct the next Batman movie, like I think he could do a pretty good job if it's just a focused on just Batman. um, but obviously, I don't know if they'll let him after this movie didn't do all that well. Um, uh, yeah, like, what are your thoughts on the fact that Michael Keaton said that he stopped being Batman because there was no more crime in Gotham?
I mean, I guess that I don't know. I mean that. I mean, I don't know what that means, but I mean,
I,
I don't know. I think they just need an excuse for him to be kind of old.
I guess, but you can.
Which I mean, my thing was, I mean, they could have just gone with. I mean, I get they wanted to make him Bruce Wayne too, so it's
Mm-hmm.
still Michael Keaton playing the same character basically.
I
But
guess,
I don't know. It felt kind
like,
of
if if we are to assume that this is the exact same Batman as the Michael Keaton movies, which it's up in the air if it is the exact same Batman or if it's like a weird.
nah. I mean,
I don't
it's not.
know. Um, like like him saying there's no crime in Gotham anymore kind of checks out because at the end of each of those movies he did technically kill his villain. Joker died, Penguin died, and technically the Schumacher movies are in the same universe, and I'm pretty sure he killed Riddler, Two-Face, and Mr. Freeze as well. So, kind of checked out that he would just murk everybody. It's like, yeah, we're going off that.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it was kind of fun watching, Hermit Bruce Wayne just beat the crap out of these two Flashes. That was a kind of fun little scene. Although I really don't like this Batman's description of what the multiverse is. It's like
the noodle thing.
The whole noodle thing, yeah. Like you time travel and you don't go back to your time. You go to a time that has always happened, but he just so happened to go to the time where the Michael Keaton Batman movies happened. Like that seems oddly convenient.
I mean,
and then when he I don't know.
I mean, I guess you could argue there's a Batman in every, type of dimension almost. But
I guess, but that's not just butterfly effect. Which I guess this is more or less kind of the case with Flashpoint in general. Like Flash, time traveling wouldn't cause Batman's parents not to get shot. Like there's no reason why that would happen. So it's more or less the same general concept, just explained in a weird way.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Whenever time travel and multiverse theory gets involved at all, it can get very overly complicated very quickly.
Yeah, it's I much prefer the at least at the time the end game one where they're just like, we're gonna we maybe know what's gonna happen, but also we're not sure if this is how it's gonna happen. So just kind of go along with it. Like I was fine with
roll
it.
with it as just roll with it.
Yeah. A few other little things. I liked the Supergirl actress fine enough. I didn't like her suit very much. I thought if she had like red boots and like maybe a little bit of yellow, I think it would have been fine. But
it was missing a little. I guess they were trying to make it match the original Man of Steel suit. I guess so. It kind of more darker. So I guess
I think the Man of Steel suit had red boots. Pretty sure it did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. Probably.
Yeah, if it just
but it might have been. But I think the boots were a Martha thing. Do you think?
I don't remember.
There's no.
I remember nothing from that movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way. But like, I was like, maybe that's kind of a way that it kind of like it got more flavor from being, Martha versus just this is what the suit she showed up in.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this movie didn't have any hope at all ever. Like I didn't think it would ever come out, but I was like, if it does, I never thought there was actually a way it could ever actually be good. The first trailer came out, I was like, this movie looks very nostalgia bait heavy, and if it does it in a way that's similar to No Way Home, I was like, it could maybe be decent. Like at least act like they did show all the best scenes in the trailer. I can now fully say that. I kind of thought that was like, as far as that trailer goes, that trailer looked good. I didn't think the movie was gonna be good. Just the fact that like this was the first time that ever were making a big budget live action Flash movie, and they turned it into a weird multiverse pseudo Batman Superman thing. Just
Man, Deal Part 2.
Yeah. Like the director's even gone on record like in interviews where he's like, in a sequel I would love if Gorilla Grodd showed up, or I would love if in a sequel to have Reverse Flash be revealed to be like, then just do that first. Just do that. What are you doing? Like you can't you can't say in an interview that you would love to have Weather Wizard in a movie, and then just you, the director, not have Weather Wizard in your movie. Come fine.
I mean, it could have been one of those things where his hands were tied.
Yes, and like yes, this
And
movie has
maybe
been.
that's why they went.
Hmm?
Because like that could have been why they went through so many directors. Because it was kind of like you can make this movie, but these things have to happen, and then
Oh, I'm
people are
sure.
trying to make it work, and they're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, like I don't think it was Andrew Mussetti's fault, which is why I'm more or less fine with him, you know, doing other DC stuff, even if this doesn't work out. Because yeah, this movie was supposed to come out in 2018. It clearly didn't. It got rewritten, redirected 3 times. Like
Then COVID, then like
then a whole DC shakeup, and then James Gunn was trying to hype it up as the best DC movie he's ever seen, and then it just I don't know what movie he saw because it wasn't this.
he did say that, didn't he?
Yeah,
Why would you say that? Oh, jeez.
and like they got Stephen King and Tom Cruise and all the other people to sing praises about it. With like, are they only saying that because there was a reference to Top Gun and Andrew Muschietti did the It movies and King actually liked those movies? It's like, is that all it was?
Or they probably paid him, but yeah,
I don't know.
probably.
Bro, I don't know. Like, I just, I know I went on a whole rant last time about how like it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Far from it. I it's definitely not even close to a good thing either. I don't think I could easily. I don't think I could recommend it to anybody. I don't think, even if you're a Flash fan, I couldn't easily recommend it. Even a Batman fan, I'm like, don't bother. So yeah, it's definitely no higher than a 6. I wouldn't rate it lower than a 4, probably. We'll see how I think about that in the future if I were to watch it again. But yeah, it's somewhere in there. 4 or 5 ish.
Yeah. I didn't feel like it wasted my money, but I didn't feel like I got my money's worth
Yeah.
either.
Which, fun fact, I didn't actually pay for this movie. I technically paid
Oh,
for a ticket for Transformers and walked into that movie instead.
fair enough.
Which, for the record, Transformers is also not great either, but that's fine. It's Transformers. I can accept. We're never gonna go one of these. That's fine. It is what it is. I think I enjoy Transformers more than Flash, though. So at least I'm glad I paid for that multiple times over Flash.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you just done a movie where Gorilla Grodd was the main villain, and you had one or two other
Any
rogues,
other Flash film?
any other Flash film, or just
I mean, I've always been a big fan of Mirror Master.
yeah,
I think he's the best Flash villain outside of Reverse Flash, just because you can't beat what you can't hit or touch or see. So it
yeah,
works. It's like whenever you have a villain who's or a hero that's OP, you can't just have someone that's either just him or like, oh, I'm just as strong. It's like you kind of have to be smarter. It's kind of how the whole Lex Luthor works with Superman. It's like, yeah, I don't beat you in in an arm wrestle, but I don't have to.
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, it does not surprise me that this movie is not doing that well at the box office. It is not. It. I don't know where the $220 million budget went, especially since the CG is so bad. But the fact that it's only made like 240 something so far is not ideal. Like
Oh,
the fact that this movie
that's
and
not
also Shazam and also Black Adam have all not been box office successes
great.
at all. Even like it's where the Black Adam is the best of those 3.
Yes.
Like
Like definitively, yes, I would say that.
yeah, also kind of funny that there's 3 lightning-based villains or lightning-based movies in a row.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I bet I know where the budget went.
where
It was the George Clooney cameo.
the George Clooney cameo. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I laughed at that. That was pretty funny. I
Yeah.
was not expecting
Like I was expecting something like that to happen, but Bear's reaction was also very good. Like it.
that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, he he just owns it too. He's just like, we all know why I'm here. It's okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh
I
man.
I'm glad we're done with that era of DC. If anything, I would prefer if they just
Yes.
took a break for 2 years until the next Superman comes out. But Blue Beetle does
Yep.
come out next month. We'll see how that
That could
goes.
be good.
Yeah, like for Blue Beetle, I have no expectations.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I mean,
Yeah,
I don't mean this in the wrong way, but I think not enough people know anything about Blue Beetle to even realize it's a DC hero.
right.
So I probably won't associate it with some of the other DC movies
Yeah,
anyway.
like movies
Because Blue
like
Beetle's not
that
exactly
come
a
out.
household name.
Movies like that come out all the time. Like that,
Yes.
like what's it called? Upgrade came out a couple of years ago, where it looked like what if Venom was actually good? I haven't seen it, but I assume it's better than Venom. Or like other random movies about kids who get robot suits. Like these things just kind of come out. I don't know how well they do at the box office, but they at least it looks like a fun kids movie.
Yes. It looks like something that could just be its own thing.
Yeah.
Like they could just make a Blue Beetle verse just for him.
And then
But then
Aqua.
again, they said that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Aquaman. Oh, that's right.
Yep, it's coming out the end of in December.
Oh my. Really?
Yeah.
Just pack it up, guys. It's
The first one
okay.
made $1.3 billion. You're really gonna tell them they shouldn't make a sequel?
That is, I still don't understand that
No, I
at
don't.
all.
I don't either.
Like, no, that movie does not deserve
No,
half
it's
that.
not.
To be honest, that's insane to me. But
It does, and
yeah,
I think they're hoping that the sequel will bankroll the rest of the DC universe going forward.
it will not.
I don't think it will. I think people,
I think it's gonna get half what the first one
if
got.
it's lucky, I mean, if it got half, it'd be the first one to be profitable in a while. So that's something.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, my thing is, you said it comes out in December. What else is happening in December?
Um, I can't think of anything else major right now.
No, no, I don't think there's anything. There's nothing on my list. So maybe it will be a success because there's nothing else out again. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what happened last time. It wasn't really. I think it was that good. I think it was just nothing else came out, so people just
but things did come
kept
out back
going.
then. Spider Verse and Bumblebee. They should have seen that instead.
Yes, they should have, but I guess everyone was just like, "Oh, it's animated. Who cares?" And it's like, well,
You fools.
you fool. Yes, you sheep. Like, how dare you?
Right. Um, yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say about Flash. It's not great. I didn't expect it to be great, but it's bad in ways I wasn't expecting it to be bad. It's also bad in ways I was expecting it to be bad. There were some things I did like about it, but not enough for me to actually rank it that high. So, yeah, I'll put it like a 5 right now. We'll see how that goes in the future, but it's middling.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so, speaking of something that is not middling, probably, Superman Legacy has finally cast its Superman and its Lois Lane. And it is
Yes, it did.
both of these actors were the ones who were like this movie has weirdly gotten like a lot of like weekly updates about like what's been going on in production, which like it's weird, but also I kind of like it. Like
Yes.
it's some things are annoying. It's like 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 there was like a couple of times when like James Gunn like he finally finished the script. It's like I don't really care about that. I just want to know who's going to be in it. but yeah, I want studios in general of all different mediums to be more open with how things are going in general. But yes, these were the two people I was the most hoping for to be, to be these people, mostly because they look identical to the comics. Like David Cornsweet looks exactly like Superman to the T. Like
every picture I've seen, I was just kind of like, yeah, that'll
Yeah,
work.
yeah, and I've seen a couple of clips of him, and I don't remember what show it is, but he's in some Netflix show that's set in like the 20s or 30s, like right when like movies are starting to get bigger, or 40s, like 50. It's set in a time where like it's in the past, you know, that it's in
Yes.
the past, and like he plays this guy who grew up in I think Minnesota or Missouri, somewhere around there, like somewhere that's like Kansas esque. He's talking about how he's the salt the earth guy who grew up loving movies, and he's just wants to try to make it in this great world, follow his dream. Like the way he talked, the way he sounded with that like kind of subtle country accent, like exactly that's how Clark should sound, exactly like that. Yes. Like he got the looks, he got I'm sure they swooped his hair exactly like how Superman should look.
Yeah.
And then Rachel Brosnahan, Marvelous Miss Maisel, she's great, black hair. Like, wow, who would have thought Lois Lane looked better with black hair? Okay, not that Amy Adams looks bad at all. Like, I like Amy
I,
Adams, but you know, Lois Lane should probably have darker hair. Anyway,
yeah. Agreed.
uh, but yeah, they like it's one of those things where if their main characters seem to be, really wanting these roles. Apparently, David Corenswet, he's been gunning uh, for the ability to play Superman since like 2019. He's been like, it would be a dream of mine to want to be Superman. Like, yes, do it.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, they're both in a very nice age range where they could be these characters for 10 plus years. I think David is 29, Rachel is 32. Like, that's a good range for these characters, for them to be in this world for many years. Um, Apparently, Bill and Alexander Skarsgård are in the running to play Lex Luthor. After John Wick 4, I could easily see Bill Skarsgård do a good job at that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, just everything that's been going so far seems like you know, it seems promising. I'll say that. It seems
Yes.
promising.
Yes. And again, everything that we've heard so far kind of seems like they're like, yeah, let's go back to the Superman everybody knows,
Yeah.
which, like, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. We've got a guy who looks like Superman. We're going to go back. Like, everything feels
Yep.
right
Yep.
so far. It's
Like,
still early, but everything feels right.
yeah. Like James Gunn has specifically said that they're not going to show Krypton blowing up, but they are going to show his early days working at Daily Planet, which I think is good. Like establish him and Lois Lane's working relationship before a romantic relationship. Um, just as long as this time the Daily Planet has the big stupid globe on top. I love the big stupid globe. It wasn't there in Man of Steel. Should have been there.
Doesn't make sense, and I want it.
Yeah, I know it was in the lobby, but I want it on the big stupid top of that stupid building. uh, but yeah, like I don't think we're gonna actually see him in the suit for probably a good year or so because he still needs to bulk up and actually you
Yeah.
know get suit ready. That's fine. Like just any further updates will let you know. But I just as of right now, I am very excited for that. So, um, stick with DC stuff for just a bit longer. The Batman cinematographer Greg Fraser is confirmed to be returning for the sequel. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Like
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
right, like the main thing that people praise about that movie is just how stunning it looks. So
Yeah.
visually interesting. It's just yeah, like obviously the script and acting is also great, but just it is one of the most visually interesting movies I've ever seen. So, yeah, do that
Yeah.
again.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, even the car chase alone, the cinematography is S tier, I would feel. So,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
yeah. there's no, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, bring them back,
the way it
please.
utilized shadows, the way like there's a couple like one track shots that looked really good all the way through. Just
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I'm excited for that. And
Yeah, just keep doing that.
if if DC mandates that Andrew Muschietti can't direct the second Batman, or the DCU Batman movie, I I personally wouldn't be upset if James Gunn just decides to roll in the Batman into his universe. You can just, you know, I think that could work. You could have your own little trilogy, but then, uh, oh no, what is his name? Twilight Kid. What is his name?
Oh,
Yeah,
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Just have him be the Batman for like a world's finest team up thing. That'd be fun. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, um, yeah. Like as long as Superman Legacy nails it, as long as things seem to be going well for the Batman. Obviously, the writer's strike is still happening. I want the studios to end to not end. I don't want to sound negative. I want studios to accept their deal as soon as possible. We can just make these movies happen how they need to be happening. like, like the Batman needs to be perfect. Stuff like Andor, which like his writing was its strongest point. Like those need to be done as good as possible, and it benefits the studios. It benefits everyone involved if the writers can make that happen. So just get on that. Anyway, um, okay. One last little bit of superhero news I have. There's a pretty decent chance that Beyond the Spider Verse will probably be delayed, and I'd be okay with that. Apparently, there was a lot of turmoil with the animators during the development of Across the Spider Verse. Like they were working long hours. The creative leads didn't really know how to direct animated movies in the way they wanted to. Like um, apparently, several I don't know if it was 100, but it was like a lot of people like cycled out pretty regularly. Uh, so yeah, like even though that movie is perfect, it seems like a lot of stuff went on behind the scenes that obviously didn't affect the end product, but it seemed like it wasn't the best time for the people involved actually making it. So if they need more time to make Beyond the Spider Verse, give it to them, please.
Yeah.
We don't
It's, I
need
mean,
it next March. It can be pushed back a whole
no,
year or two if it needs to be.
no. I mean, that's kind of my thing. It's like this movie clearly took a ton of care and effort to make. So, we don't have to make them like they don't have to be back to back. I mean, that's great if we can. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying no, but it's like, don't sacrifice any quality or anything for that. It's not worth it.
Yep.
I mean, we waited what 5 years for this one. We can wait. I mean, maybe not another five, but I mean, one or two ain't bad.
Right? Yeah. Like I'm sure since they were made back to back, I'm sure a lot of it is already like in production or at least, close to
Hmm.
it. But just like with Tears of the Kingdom, if it needs to be delayed a whole year to get it perfect, do it.
No, take as much time as you need to get back to the same quality. It's
Yep.
fine.
Okay. So the last bit of news, I guess I have, is so. Do you know what the metaverse is, or I guess what it tried to be?
Metaverse. It's
Yeah.
like meta, as in like being like within itself or something like that
Well,
kind of thing. I
so
Go ahead, just tell
yeah,
me.
that's fine. So essentially, like during the whole like NFT craze that was happening a year or two ago, um,
Oh boy.
kind of around that same time, this idea of like this alternate reality that you could literally spend your entire life in, that you could like buy stuff in the metaverse, like in this alternate reality world, You could pay for stuff using NFT or cryptocurrencies. Kind of like started to catch wind, started to build up steam to the point where Facebook, the company, literally rebranded their entire company to Meta to then
Yes.
yeah, and then they tried to pioneer they tried to be like the one metaverse to rule them all called Horizon Worlds. It's like a VR space where you're in a headset, you like see it's all around you. There's like other people there you can interact with. It's basically new age VR chat or like Second Life or like things that people have already been doing for 20 plus years, but it has like actual like big names attached to it, so people think it's going to be a big deal, but it turned out not to be. Which is how a lot of the things tend to go. Um, like apparently Facebook put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into developing their version of the metaverse. And according to a recent report,
Oh no.
The way I don't know if I've described it to you the best way, but essentially imagine it as like a VR game. Like you don't pay for the game itself, but you pay for stuff in the game. Like you pay for cosmetics, but like those cosmetics are essentially like, for character that you can't really see because you're in VR. I'm not sure how it really works, but whatever. So considering it is essentially a game, what do you think were the average daily user numbers for this Horizon Worlds thing?
Oh gosh.
Meta's Horizon Worlds metaverse.
I mean, maybe I've just been living under a rock. I had never heard of this, and I have not heard anyone say anything about it. So probably not super high, I would guess.
You want to throw a random number out?
No, I can't. I just want to hear it.
I guarantee it would not be low enough. 38 active average users.
On the whole planet.
Apparently, an average of 38 active daily users for Horizon Worlds. Again, the company Meta, formerly known as Facebook. Still the top social media app.
Billions of people, yes.
Yeah. They spent billions of dollars on producing this thing. 38. And apparently, according to this report, a lot of those 38 were people who worked at Facebook or who were forced to use it.
That's what I was thinking. That's probably just employees for like their families.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like anyone who okay, my thing is, does anyone even know this exists?
I don't know.
Doubt it.
Like there was like a week or two on Facebook where crypto nerds were hyping it up. But after that, I heard nothing. I never saw advertisements for it on Facebook. I don't even know how to access it. It's like I'm not obsessed with Facebook, but I visit there every now and then. Like I feel like I should have seen some kind of like tab or pop up or advertisement or something. But no. And I think an even funnier number is, yes, there were only 38 average daily users. But over the past year, Horizon Worlds generated $470.
It's a little less than 100 billion.
That's not 470 a day. That's not 470,000. It's over
Total.
the whole last fiscal year, 2022. $470.
Imagine being the accountant going into that board meeting.
You couldn't.
So how do we do our multi-billion investment? Yeah, so we didn't make enough money to print handouts for this meeting, but
hey, that
things are not looking good.
That PS5 we had on pre-order? Yeah, we can't afford that.
We gotta take it back. Hope you kept the receipt.
Yeah. Um,
Oof.
like I just find that so funny. Like it just came so stupidly early. Like obviously society is not ready to always be in a headset in a chair just doing, who knows what online. That's not We're not there yet. Also, not to
We're
mention,
really not.
like there are so many stories, movies, books, whatever about this kind of thing, and all of them, that is what you want to not like. That is always like the post-apocalyptic bad reality, like Ready Player One, etc. Like these are things that you don't want to strive to do, and now we're like, yes, we're gonna do that. Why would you do
More
that?
of that, yes.
And then Apple tries to make this $3,500 headset that looks exactly like the one from Ready Player One. It's like, no, no one's gonna buy that. What are you doing? It's not
I
whatever.
mean, I don't know. That's. I mean, do you think they spend all this money and then just immediately shut it down, just pretend nobody noticed?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a thing where because they are Facebook and they, are a multi-billion-dollar company anyway. Like, I don't know if this necessarily if they can just write this off as a business expense, or if they can just, or if the servers are cheap enough, they can just keep it going until it can't make money. It can't. You can't make money on this. Like, it's not
I
like you're.
mean, I feel like they're not advertising because like I see a billion ads all the time, and I've never even heard of this even a little bit. So I feel like if they have tried advertising, more people would probably at least consider because
Yeah.
somebody wants that content for like YouTube or something,
Maybe when it first came out, I saw a couple of ads for Horizon Worlds on YouTube, but I haven't anywhere at all since. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
right? Maybe they
Maybe
spent so much money buying it that they didn't have any for advertisement.
maybe it's maybe it's more of a TV commercial thing, and I don't watch TV. That's dumb.
I
Why
mean,
why
I
wouldn't you do it
doubt it.
online where it's
That's what I'm
local?
saying. Well, my thing is, if it's something like VR, most people are probably using phones and things that would be interested in that. So
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very funny.
it's unfortunate to say the least. I wonder whoever's idea that was is probably fired,
And again,
unless they own the
they
place.
rebranded the entire company around this thing. It didn't pay
Not the
off.
brightest moment.
No.
I don't know. Maybe they'll give it some time, like readjust what it is, come back, and then it'll be
Yeah.
more successful.
Like there have been, legit video games which had a very bad launch. A couple years later, they either rebranded or you had new content or just had a new structure and it just took off. Like that happens.
Mhm.
Fortnite didn't start as this mega hit and then it just kind of over time became.
Wasn't
Hmm?
wasn't that how Among Us was?
Yes. Yeah.
Like it was like nobody had even touched it, and then like whatever, and then one day it just popped off.
Middle of the pandemic, it just, yeah, just exploded.
And that
Yeah.
was huge for like 6 months, and
Yeah.
then never played it again.
It still has a decent sized following, but yeah, it's not everywhere like it was. But yeah, like
Mm.
maybe that could happen. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
That's all I've got from here, I believe. Adventures with Superman.
Yes.
New episode on Max tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the.
2 episodes, I
Oh,
believe.
two? Nice. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the first time in 20 something years we're getting a standalone Superman show, which
I'm
is.
telling you, man. Between this, the new Superman, it's time. Superman is back.
Yeah.
And he won't be broody. Finally.
Yes. He could be just like a little broody where it's where it makes sense, but not all the time.
Yes, but not all the time. And we don't kill people.
Yeah. Hopefully James Gunn knows what he's doing, which I think after Guardians
I
3, I'm
have
pretty
faith
sure
in
he
him.
does.
Yeah, I have faith in him.
All right, so with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care.